In this video, we will be learning how to cut and sew these wrap skirts for a girl. I made these wrap skirts for a baby girl of 3 years old, and I just thought to document how to cut and sew this wrap skirt because I know that it will be beneficial to a lot of people out there. I made this wrap skirt for a baby girl and her mom. I already uploaded a detailed tutorial on how I cut and sew that of the mom. The link to it is down in the description box and it will also be showing up. You can check that out when you are done watching this particular video. It is a very detailed video on how to cut and sew these wrap skirts for an adult generally. So for that of the baby, the basic measurements you need to measure on the child before you can successfully cut and sew a wrap skirt like this are the skirt length, the waist, and maybe the hip. I am Oluwato saying in case this is the first video of mine that you're coming across and you're welcome. To all my returning subscribers, you're also welcome. Thank you so much for the comments, for the likes, and all the loves shown towards this my channel. I see all of them and I appreciate them. Moving into the tutorial, I used this crepe fabric. I used about 3 yards of crepe fabric for the baby girl. I used 3 yards because I did not want the gathers to have joining. So I just cut the gathers straight like that without joining. But 2 yards can also work for a child of like 3 to 5 years old. So the first thing I did was to cut the pencil parts of the wrap skirt. To achieve this, you first cut a pencil skirt that there won't be joining at the back. No joining at the back, no joining at the front. It's just joining. They'll just be joining by the side. So I divided our hip by 4. This my fabric is on fold of 2. Our hip divided by 4. I added 2 inches allowance. And for the skirt length, the whole of our skirt length is 19. So I made this pencil part 10 because it will have band of 2 inches. I deducted 2 inches. That's why I'm placing my tape rule like this, and then I marked 10 and I added 1 inch allowance. The 1 inch allowance is half inch for joining the gathers to it and half inch for joining the band to it up. I cut this out and placed it on another fabric that is on fold of 2 to cut out again. Now I've succeeded in cutting the front and back panel. Then I divided our waistline by 4. I marked that. Then I just cut out the waistline and I penciled it down a bit. I kept one panel aside and for the other panel I notched the up and the down. This is going to be the front panel now. Now we are trying to make the wrap. I marked out the wrap first before cutting it out. Then I placed it on another fabric, making sure that the right side is facing the right side. I cut that out as well. Then the next I did was to place it on each other like this. Now I've succeeded in cutting the front panel, which is the part where the wrap is. Just trying to arrange what this looks like at this point. This is what it looks like for the front and the back panel. The next thing to do is to measure across where the gathers will be. So I measured across where the gathers will be on this pencil skirt, and what I measured, I multiplied it by 4 because I want it to be very, very full. You can multiply by 2, you can do by 3, depends on the quantity of fabric that you have or how full you want it to be. But in my case, I did multiply by 4. And I mentioned earlier that the whole length of the skirt is 19. That means, and I've cut 10 for the upper part. That means this gathers part will be 9 inches. So for the band, I want it to be 2 inches wide. So I cut a piece. The band is also the belt. I cut a piece that is 4.5 inches wide, and the length I measured the waistline here, not the person's waistline, not the child's waistline. The waistline that you have in this cloth was what I measured. You know, it will be definitely more than our actual waistline. So I measured that and then I multiplied it by 2. That's the length of the belt, and it is 4.5 inches wide. Then I proceeded to shaping. To shape, I faced the wrong side to wrong side first. The right side is up. Then I shaped with like 1/4 inch before proceeding to folding it over to the right side facing right side, which was the proper way I was supposed to shape. And I shaped. This is just so that the rough edge can be concealed. Like when you flip it to the wrong side, you would not see the rough edge. And for this gathers part, I proceeded to gathering the fabric into the measurements that I have in the wrap skirt. I measured across that part where the gathers will enter in the wrap skirt. So I gathered the all of my fabric into that measurement. Then I folded the back panel into two and I marked the center back. I marked the center back for these gathers as well. I folded it into two after gathering to the measurement I have inside my skirt. Then I marked the center of it. Then I pinned the center of the gathers to center back at the lower part of the pencil part. I hope my explanation is clear. Then I stitched the gathers inside the wrap skirt. I hope that what I'm trying to say is clear. So when I was done doing this, the next thing I did was to attach the band to the skirt. Now we'll be turning the skirt, like the skirt will be in between the band. You will not just stitch it on the band for the edge of the skirt to be showing. Then for this gathers part, I didn't start from the beginning of the skirt. I skipped like 2.5 inches before starting, and I stopped at 2.5 inches on the other side as well. So I didn't start from the beginning of the skirt. It's just the way I want it. If you want the gathers to be all across the pencil part of the skirt, you can do that. But I just kept 2.5 inches. So for the band now, I'm facing the wrong side of my skirt on the right side of the band. I notched the middle of the band and I notched the middle of the skirt. I pinned the two notches on each other so that this belt can be centralized. It will not be longer on one side than the other. Then I stitched the skirt on the band first and flipped it to the right side and folded my belt on top of it. I used the half inch, I cut 4.5. I used that half inch to stitch it on the skirt. So what I have left now is 2 inches. The band is now 2 inches wide. For the parts of the belt where the skirt did not get to, I just proceeded to folding them. I folded the two edges inside and I stitched it. After turning the tip, I turned the tip of the belt first, the beginning and the end. I turned it, then I folded it the side inside. I hope what I'm trying to say is clear. And at this point, this is what the skirt is looking like. It is already ready. It is already ready. So the next I did was just to use hemming gum to fold the down of the skirt. I used hemming gum to fold the whole down of the skirt. This is just so that my work can come out as neat as possible. Before folding the down, I cropped this front because I want the front to be, if you check the video, you would understand what I'm saying. The front is a little bit shorter inside and outside than the rest of the body. So I cropped the front and I used hemming gum to fold it down of the skirt. After this, the next thing is to create hole where the belt will come out through, like where you pass the belt through. So on the left side of the skirt, I created on the waist side, I I created hole that is not more than 1.5 inch wide, 1 inch wide, and then I passed the belt so that the belt will not just lap on each other. It will enter that part and then you bring it out and tie it at the back. I hope what I'm trying to say is clear. So I did like button hole there that it's wide enough to accommodate the belt. And that is it for the cutting and sewing of this skirt. Don't forget that the link to the cutting and sewing of that of the mom is down in the description box. You should check it out right after this video. In case you are still with me and you've not subscribed, consider subscribing, and don't just subscribe, turn on the notification bell so that you'll be notified when next I upload a new video on this channel. If you have any questions, don't forget that the comment section down below is always open to your question. If this video has been helpful or interesting to you, consider giving it a thumbs up, and you can check out one of these two videos that are currently showing on your screen. Trust me, you'll find them interesting and useful as well. I'll see you in my next tutorial. Bye.